Hello, everyone. This is criminal profiler Pat Brown, and let's talk about the dog. uh, Sometimes I get so frustrated trying to explain things because it's very hard to explain things when a lot of information is out there that is erroneous and is very manipulative. All right, so what about the dog? Okay, so there was testimony at the trial of Karen Reed about the German Shepherd dog that belonged to the Alberts and was rehomed. Oh my God. Oh, the dog. That was the dog that attacked John O'Keefe and left all that damage on his arm. Oh my God. That's the dog that did that. And that's why the Alberts rehomed the dog to get rid of the dog. At least that's what the defense wants you to think. All right. Let me tell you something about how the defense works. When the defense has no case, they go for that the police are corrupt, that there's conspiracy theory. They'll throw out all kinds of alternative theories that will hopefully convince one juror at least out of 12 that maybe that could have happened and therefore there's reasonable doubt. That's how this works. All right. Now, let's talk about the dog. All right. There was a dog that lived in the Alberts home. It was a German Shepherd. The claim by the defense is that John O'Keefe went into this home, that he was left by his girlfriend, all right, Karen Reed. She dropped him off and he walked into that home. And while he was there, somebody assaulted him and the dog assaulted him. And then the person who assaulted him also dumped him out on the front lawn. That's their claim. And then the police department, the EMTs, the medical examiner, and the forensics people, the laboratory people, everybody conspired to say that Karen Reed is guilty, that they all corrupted the evidence in one way or the other, or planted it, or created it. But let's talk about the dog. All right, the dog. So there was some damage to John O'Keefe's arm. There is nothing that I have seen when I've looked at those photos that says to me that's dog damage. The prosecution does not believe it's dog damage, but of course the defense says it absolutely is. And they've gone out and found themselves an expert who will say that's dog damage. Because if you look long enough and pay enough money, you'll find yourself an expert that says that's dog damage. All right. There's no obvious that is absolute dog damage. I can't see it anyplace. It's not like you see the impression of the dog's teeth into the arm. Like, oh my God, look at those big, like it's like a whole bite mark on his arm. My God. No, there's none of that. There's some scratch marks or some cuts. There's nothing that says it's a dog, but the defense says it is. However, the prosecution has come back and said, look, we did DNA tests and there's no dog DNA. No dog DNA. Therefore, what does that mean? That means that there's no proof that a dog attacked his arm, and only proof we're going to have, proof, it's not even proof, it's just an opinion. We're going to get some experts out here, and one expert will say it's not dog, and the other expert will say it is dog. All right. And there's a lot of people out there on the internet who say, Pat Brown, your opinion is worthless. Well, if my opinion as an expert is worthless, well, perhaps your defense expert's opinion is worthless as well. That's the whole point. It's an opinion. Opinions are useful if they can explain in a rational way and scientific way why this is true. But that's not what they're going to be able to do with this damage to John O'Keefe's arm. But they're going to say it's a dog. It's a dog bite. It's dog stuff, whatever kind of dog damage. And they're going to say, and because it looks like dog damage, oh my God, what dog could it be? But the dog that was in the house. It is the Albert German Shepherd. Now, they have no proof that he even entered the house. There's not one witness who says he entered the house to have this altercation with somebody in the family and the dog. But okay, there's no proof that the dog attacked him. Zero. So what are they leaning on now, the defense? What are they trying to insinuate? Oh, they're insinuating that, oh my God. Well, in spite of the fact that there's no proof of dog DNA on that, the damage to his arm, and there's no real proof outside of our expert just saying his opinion that this is dog damage. Hey, they got rid of the dog. They got rid of the dog. That's proof right there. Because they rehomed the dog. All right. Come on now. If there's no proof that his arm was damaged by a dog, there's no dog DNA, and there's no bites to compare against the German Shepherd's teeth, there's no proof that the dog was involved. Why would they get rid of the dog under those circumstances? I would have to say if the Alberts actually got rid of the dog because they were trying to hide the dog, it would be stupid because it would make them look more guilty, but so this is just nonsense. They got rid of the dog. They didn't get rid of the dog. They rehomed the dog. They have reasons to rehome the dog. And many people have reasons for rehoming a dog. Sometimes it's because a dog is not getting the proper attention where it's at. Maybe it's because it has issues with other animals. Most of the time it's other animals and not human beings. Sometimes a dog is very protective, and if other animals are around, it can become aggressive toward other animals in protecting its owner. So therefore, perhaps the dog is in a situation where they're concerned, or maybe they've even been had issues where their dog has attacked another animal, and then the owners of that animal and animal control go after you for that kind of thing. That can happen. Maybe for whatever reasons, they chose to rehome the dog to a location in Vermont, which is where the dog is. But the dog being rehomed it's ridiculous. You think this proves anything, because there's no way. If they brought the dog back today, there's no way they can match that dog to the crime. Because first of all, there's no proof that the dog attacked anybody, and there's no DNA from the dog, and there's no dog bites that can be matched. So it's all nonsense. This is the smoke and mirrors that a defense team will put up. Why does a defense team do this? Because they have no evidence to prove anybody else harmed John O'Keefe. They have nothing. They have no proof he went into the house. They have no proof anybody assaulted him. They have no proof that a dog assaulted him. They've got nothing, so they just keep throwing stuff at the wall. Why do they do this? Because it works. Because when you have 12 people, and I'm very strongly against civilian jury systems, not because the people aren't wonderful human beings who they could sit through weeks and weeks of this torture, sit through trials that are both boring and emotional, and just it's a hard job, and you ain't getting paid enough to do that damn job. Let me tell you, juror. They find 12 people. I call 12 people off a bus stop. They throw in there. They have no training in crime scene analysis, no training in anything. And all these experts roll out, and they try to basically manipulate the jury into believing something. And the jury, they haven't had the training that the experts have, or that the prosecution has, or that the defense has. And so they're struggling to do their best to try to understand everything. But they don't have that experience. There are a lot of people out there who have that experience. I have that experience. And I get hate. Constant hate. Oh, you're completely wrong. I've seen Wendy Murphy. She's a retired prosecutor, very intelligent woman. Massive hate going toward her. There's a retired, she's new on the block as far as YouTube goes. She's a retired FBI agent, Jennifer I'm going to look at the picture, Coffendorfer, because it's a new name to me. I thought what she said was brilliant. She's been receiving hate. Between the three of us, we have so much hate and insults, we could wallpaper an entire house with them. 3 women who have experience in the field, who have looked at this and said, look, we just don't see that there's any evidence pointing away to some other scenario. We cannot believe, because we do not see the evidence, that there's a massive conspiracy. What we see is the evidence supports that Karen Read most likely hit him with a car. That's where all the evidence points. That's where the physical evidence points. That's where the DNA evidence points. That's where the statement evidence points. So unless the defense can prove that she didn't do it, and that somebody else did. They don't have to prove somebody else did. They just have to prove she didn't do it. That there's no case that the prosecution has. Well, if they can prove that, well, and I want to say, when I say prove, I mean convince a jury, because so far I haven't seen anything convincing to me that says I would, if I were on that jury, I would say I would give a not guilty. I wouldn't come, at this point, I would not come up with that, because I don't see that the defense has proven that she didn't do it. And I see all the evidence links to supports that she was involved. And nothing points any other direction. But all you need is one person on that jury. That's what they're going for. One person says, well, it could have been a dog bite. One person says, well, I think he did go in the house. One person says, I think he could. I don't believe that he could have, that she hit, the car hit him, and that did that. All they need is somebody not to follow the evidence and to go with what the defense says. So let's talk about the dog. It's not involved. There's not one shred of evidence that the dog was involved in anything. Let the dog live out his life in Vermont, and this is just, it's just nonsense. And it's sad. I just get very frustrated sometimes, because I just want to see people understand logic and understand evidence and stop just falling for everything that's thrown at them on the internet and by the defense. Those are my thoughts. So anyway, yeah. We can stop talking about the dog. If you're new to the channel, please do like and subscribe to my channel. Please do click the bell for notifications to see if there's more on this case that I want to talk about. And also check my playlist, because I talk about so many other cases. My real interest is in educating and helping people understand crime scene analysis, especially those in law enforcement and criminal justice people. And I hope they learn something from this channel and not just come here for I don't know, where people go these days. People just seem to just want entertainment, and I'm about education. If I'm entertaining, that's fine, but I'm about education. So anyway, that's it. No dog involved. Bye.